Hi guys, welcome back to the channel, and if you're new here, my name's Matt and this channel is all about movies, TV, film information, special editions, all the rest of it. So yeah, as the thumbnail says, we've got some more news about the James Bond franchise, where it's going to. Denis Villeneuve has kind of come out and said a little bit more information. So we're going to get into that today on the video. So welcome back. So yeah, it's been announced that Denis Villeneuve is going to start his search for the next James Bond after he's finished production on Dune Part 3. So apparently that's not going to be until next year. But what has been confirmed is that the actor will be a male, comes from the British Isles, so that would include England, Wales, Scotland, Northern Ireland, part of the UK. So at least they're keeping with the books. They're not going to go off in a different direction, which I think some people were thinking, could that happen under Amazon? No, it's definitely been confirmed that it will still be a male, which I think is, good news. I think sort of trying to create a different spin on it would just put a lot of fans off of it. If you're going to do that, create a new character, Jane Bond, or, well, not Bond, but you know what I mean. Somebody who's a bit like Lara Croft, shall we say. That was created and absolutely fantastic. Similar sort of dynamic to Indiana Jones, but her own thing. And, I'm sure they could do a sort of secret agent with a different name, a different sort of background, history, and all the rest of it for a female character. So at least we know that. The other news is that they will be looking for an unknown actor, which again I think is pretty good news. There's been a lot of names sort of bandied around that could take over the role, including Henry Cavill, who I actually think would have made a great Bond myself. He did audition for the part at a similar time to Daniel Craig. At the time he sort of felt he was a bit young, and I think they thought he was a bit young for the role. But obviously he was, pretty much involved with the Superman Snyder universe. Obviously that's all come to an end now, but he's very much sort of involved in other projects. Believe the Highlander remake or reboot, which I think will be next year, although I think that's been put on hold for a bit because he sustained an injury. So yeah, I think that's kind of been put to bed, that he won't be playing the role. Aaron Taylor-Johnson was another name that was being sort of coming up quite a few times, and again I think there's some people that really like the idea of him, but again, no, they're sticking with the tradition that the Michael G. Wilson and Barbara Broccoli sort of always went for an unknown actor. They've pretty much done that throughout the Bond series. So it'd be interesting to see sort of, who they pick. It might be somebody from TV world that we've seen in TV series. I know they did that with Roger Moore. He was very much big into sort of the TV world in the sort of late 60s, starred in a lot of things, including The Saint. So maybe we'll see an actor that's sort of been in sort of a lot of the TV stuff that we're seeing sort of, in the last few years. Again, age hasn't really been discussed yet, but I would imagine they'll probably get somebody sort of around in their 30s. I think Bond was sort of portrayed in the books as somewhere in the mid 30s. So I think they'll want to sort of maintain with that. And I've got a lot of confidence in Denis Villeneuve. I think he is one of the best directors at the moment. He's made some fantastic films. I've liked the first two Dune films. Looking forward to part 3 as well. Blade Runner 2049 I thought was an absolute fantastic sequel, equal to the first Blade Runner in my opinion. So I have a lot of faith in him as the director, and sounds like he's going to be very much involved in this casting of the new James Bond. So I think we're going to have to wait a little bit longer. I'm not sure when production will wrap on Dune Part 3. Obviously sometime next year. So I guess maybe we might sort of see an announcement maybe towards the middle of the year, 2026, or possibly autumn 2026. I'm guessing once they've found the actor, they'll want to get into production for the film. Whether we're going to see a film in 2027 is a bit unsure. Depends on when filming on Dune Part 3 finishes. I'm not sure exactly when that film is going to be coming out. I assume either end of next year or early 2027. I don't know. So yeah, it looks like we're going to have to wait a few more years. There was talk that it could possibly be happening towards the end of next year or early in 2027. But traditionally, the Bond films are generally released towards the end of the year, in sort of the autumn time, October, November time. I think there was even one in sort of December from the Roger Moore years. So, yeah, I don't think we're going to sort of see anything probably at least until 2027, and possibly even 2028. So I think we're just going to have to wait, put our faith in Denis Villeneuve and the two new producers. I'd rather things not be rushed. Let's get it right. Let's get a great Bond back. Following the sort of footsteps of Daniel Craig, because certainly I'd like to see a return to the Casino Royale feel to things, because I thought that was a fantastic start to Bond in his era. Okay, as the films went on, they sort of went up and down in quality. Yeah, I'd like to see a return to sort of that gritty, dark sort of side of Bond, which we all sort of love from the Sean Connery time as well. Yeah, I grew up with Roger Moore, the sort of tongue-in-cheek, very suave sort of side of Bond, but I'm not so sure that really is sort of relevant in today's society. Maybe to a slight degree, but not to the extent of Roger Moore. That was very much of that time. But yeah, if we can get to somewhere in the middle of between Connery and Daniel Craig, I think we're on to a winning formula. I just don't want them to go too silly with the gadgets. Yeah, it's great to have the gadgets in there, but let's not go to the invisible car and all that sort of nonsense. Let's keep it grounded. Let's keep it contemporary as well. I'd like to see a contemporary Bond, keeping up with the times. I'm not so keen on the sort of 60s, sort of set in the 60s kind of thing. I think Bond has always sort of been contemporary, and I'd like to see that continue as well. So, what do you think of this news? Who do you think they're looking for? Do you think it's a good idea that going for an unknown actor, or would you like to see somebody that's well established, well known, take the part on? Like I say, I don't think, well, they've announced that that's not what they're doing. When do you think the new James Bond film will be sort of released to us? Do you think 2027 or 2028? Do you think this is a good thing or a bad thing? Yeah, stick down in the comments your thoughts. And if you're new here and you like this sort of content, why not subscribe to the channel? It does help me out. It tells YouTube that you like these videos. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave comments, and it's free to subscribe. It doesn't cost you anything. So yeah, hit that subscribe button now. Right guys, well that's the end of the video. Take care. See you next time.